Okay, assalamu alaikum. Hope everybody's well. Our 5 viewers. Okay, let's check the chat who's here. Assalamu alaikum, Iron Man, who is welcoming Muhammad Hassan. And to read a cup of coffee. Yeah, why not? Some cup of coffee. Now we've got some verses here about Iron Man putting up some for us. الشيطان الرجيم وقل ربي أعوذ بك من همزات الشياطين وأعوذ بك ربي أن يحضرون. Very good. Okay, let's get started. There's quite a lot that I want to present today. I'm going to try to go through it as quickly as I can. There we go. Mute to it. All right. So on the back of last week's stream, I had quite a few comments and discussions in the comment sections. People asking about this whole idea about predestination, and why I said in a way that I don't accept this idea of predestination and stuff like that. But I was talking more about the whole idea of that it's predestined, whether you will go to Jannah or to the fire, or whether you have faith, you'll believe or not. All of these kind of stuff that I completely deny. But there are certain things that God has ordained that will happen. I mean, that's definitely true. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any prophecies, right? There would be no prophecies of previous prophets, and of our prophet as well. He made prophecies for those who accept some of the narrations about them. So there are things that will come to pass. But I wanted to look at now is this idea of things being written on Maktoub. How does it go? I'm going to be mentioning at the same time a lot of the verses about we touched upon it last time about musiba and what strikes asab. And this is again this is more than any other one probably is a stream where I should I keep wanting to remind at the beginning of these streams that a lot of these are just my thoughts, my thoughts I'm putting out there. Nothing is a lot of it isn't very firm in terms of fully researched or stuff like that, but I'm just putting it out there because again this is supposed to be a stream which is to promote contemplation, thinking of the Quran and pondering it. So whatever I've put out most of the time, it's not things which are I don't think should be taken completely firmly. I don't even remember everything that I've said, I think. So what does that apply to? I'm not sure. But anyway, let's look at this. There are a few verses that I want to go through. So this is one of the verses which people have mentioned to me, and it's an important one. So it says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ما أصاب من مصيبة في الأرض ولا في أنفسكم إلا في كتاب من قبل أن نبرأها إن ذلك على الله يسير. Now it says no disaster in the translations, and all of these translations again are just Sahih International. I didn't edit them this time, I didn't have time. So it just says no disaster. Now it doesn't have to be a disaster. And we'll see later that a musiba could be good or bad. Okay. ما أصاب من مصيبة في الأرض ولا في أنفسكم إلا في كتاب من قبل أن نبرأها إن ذلك على الله يسير. That no musiba strikes upon the earth or among yourselves except that it is in a register, in a kitab. So it's Maktoub, right? It's written before we bring it into being. Okay, indeed that is for Allah easy. And there's a lot here which needs to be sort of investigated, like nabra'aha, bring into being. What does that mean? The actual Arabic, what does it actually mean? But I don't want to go into that. By the way, one of the reasons why I chose this word to write like Maktoub, I don't know if anybody's read what's it called, that famous book, The Alchemist. In The Alchemist, this word is used a lot. The Maktoub by the character Santiago. Those speaking to him will say, this is Maktoub. It's been written. That's how it's going to be. So it was written, so it will come to pass, right? But the thing here is again in في كتاب من قبل أن نبرأها is in a book before we bring it into being. So you can say it's Maktoub before it comes into being, right? Interesting thing about this verse is ما أصاب من مصيبة في الأرض, okay, on the earth. Why doesn't it say ما أصاب من مصيبة في الأرض ولا في السماء? Okay, and you know, in the earth, no one in the sky or the heavens, except that it's in a registry before it comes into being. And we'll see why I'm mentioning that later, because I think in another verse it does say on in the sky. All right, I'm not sure about that. I'm gonna have to check that. But anyway, so this is one of the verses which is can be used for this idea that everything is just written. Everything that happens is written how it's supposed, how it came into being. It had already been written before. Okay, so how can we understand it? We're just going to look through a few verses, and I'm going to give like my own a couple of ideas I've had about this. So another one here, إن تصيبك حسنة تسؤهم. Okay, if a good befalls you, so here again is where a musiba or something which asab is a good thing. Okay, إن تصيبك حسنة. This is addressed directly at the Prophet. If good befalls you, or Muhammad, تسؤهم, it distresses them. وإن تصيبك مصيبة, but if a musiba, and this it seems like a musiba is negative, right? In this case, musiba is negative. وإن تصيبك مصيبة يقولوا قد أخذنا أمرنا من قبل ويتولوا هم فرحون. But if disaster strikes you, they say we took our matter in hand before, and they turn away while they are rejoicing. Okay. So that's another thing where that occurs. Okay, so this is this also Maktoub? So because the previous verse says no disaster or no musibah strikes you, in the earth or in yourselves. So is this one of those which is in the earth or in yourselves? وَتُصِيبْكَ حَسَنَةٌ تَسُؤُهُمْ. This is in the self. Does it fall on the right? And here's another one which says مَا أَصَابَ مِن مُصِيبَةٍ, but there is no musibah that strikes except it's by what your own hands have brought. Okay, فَبِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِيكُمْ, what your own hands have earned. Okay, and he pardons a lot. وَيَعْفُ عَنْ كَثِيرٍ. What does that mean? يَعْفُ عَنْ كَثِيرٍ. That he stops this musibah from coming into being, so that the musibahs that arrive to you, they are from what you yourself have earned. But there are many other musibahs that would come to you, but God prevents them. Okay, that's what it seems like to me. He pardons much of what your own hands have earned, and thus stopping a lot of the musibah disasters from striking you. Let's continue. So this is another one. It says, أينما تكون يدرككم الموت. Okay, wherever you may be, death will overcome you, even if you were within towers lofty in construction. Okay, وإن كنتم في بروج مشيدة وإن تصيبهم حسنة يقول هذه من عند الله. And if a good befalls them, okay, they say this is from Allah. وإن تصيبهم سيئة يقول هذه من عندك. And if an evil thing befalls them, they say this is from you. It's very interesting that now in the modern world, the sort of the atheistic world, we have that flipped. So this is something which, this is actually a mentality which is being condemned in the Jahiliyyah Arabs, the Jahiliyyah sort of the Muslims before they, the Muslims who are still learning, who still have the mentality of the Jahiliyyah. For them, the good they attribute to God, right? The good they attribute to God, and the bad they will attribute to the people. Now we have that flipped, right? So people will say, the evil it's God who's doing it, and we are the ones who are bringing about the good, right? So I find that's very, very interesting that the mentality is completely flipped. Okay, before people would attribute the good only to Allah. Okay, now they will attribute the evil to Him, and they will say the good is coming from ourselves. Okay. وَإِن تُصِيبْهُمْ سَيِّئَةٌ يَقُولُ هَذِهِ مِنْ عِنْدِكَ. And if a sayyi'ah comes to them, they say, this is from you, Muhammad, it's you. This is your fault. And the verse says, قُلْ, say to them, respond, O Muhammad, قُلْ كُلٌّ مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. Everything is from God. Everything is from عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. Okay, it's important because the next verse, especially when you read it in translation, it looks like a complete contradiction. Okay, so it says, say to them, all of it is from God. كل من عند الله فما لهؤلاء القوم لا يكادون يفقهون حديثا. Okay, so what is wrong with these people? That they can barely understand, a statement, a matter. Now, the next verse, when you read it initially, you'd think it's just completely contradicting what it said beforehand. So this is verse 78. Next verse 79. It says, "Ma asaba min hasanatin famin Allah." Whatever good comes to you, whatever comes to you of good, is from Allah. وَمَا أَصَابَكَ مِنْ سَيِّئَةٍ فَمِنْ نَفْسِكَ وَأَرْسَلْنَاكَ لِلنَّاسِ رَسُولًا وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ شَهِيدًا. But whatever comes to you of evil is from yourself. Okay. And we have sent you, O Muhammad, to the people as a messenger, and sufficient as Allah as a witness. Now here, of course, in the translation, they've put in "O man," though in the Arabic, it didn't say, it's not in the plural. It's actually all speaking directly to the Prophet. Okay, and we have sent you as a messenger. Okay, so "Ma asabaka min hasanatin min Allah, wa ma asabaka min sayyatin famin nafsik." So why is the previous verse saying that everything is from God? So this one is saying, فَمَا, قُلْ كُلُّ مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ, say all of it is from God. When you speak to them, tell them all of it's from God. And here the Prophet is being told, whatever good comes to you is from Allah, and whatever bad comes to you is from yourself. And the difference is slight but important, and it's one of those things, again, which needs an investigation, and I haven't. Okay, it's the difference in that the first one uses the word ind. Okay, there's a separation. So the both of the good and the bad, they come from indillah. There's this ind. Okay, it doesn't come directly from Allah, it comes from indillah. Okay, whereas the good only, when you separate them out and now start talking what comes, where the good and the bad just come from, min, not from ind, but from where. Okay, the good is from Allah, from min Allah, whereas the evil, the bad, is min nafsik. Okay, famin nafsik. What does that mean? I'm not too sure, to be honest, but that's what it seems to be saying. Every good and bad musiba comes from indillah, from the presence or from next to God. It's like saying something's next to somebody. Who man indak, right? Who's with you? Right? You can ask that in Arabic. Yeah. I'm at the. I'm. In classical Arabic, you would say that anyway. I'm at. I don't know. I'm at. My God, man indak. Who's with you? Who's next to you? Okay. And can be what's next. What's next to something. So it seems as if the good and the bad come from something which is not from Allah, but from something which is lower than Allah, from next to God, right? From the presence or something. But only the good comes directly from Allah. That's how the verse is phrased. Okay. But only the good comes from Allah, and the evil in the end ultimately comes from you, again, from yourself. What does that mean? Again, that's just something that needs to be pondered. Okay. Here's another one. ما أصاب من مصيبة إلا بإذن الله. Okay, no disaster strikes except by the permission of Allah. So now we have بإذن الله. Right? So whatever the musibah that comes, بإذن الله. So there could be musibahs that are to come, but they don't have the permission of Allah, so they don't come. And this verse sort of gives you the mentality to look at all of this. Okay. وَمَنْ يُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ, whoever has faith in Allah, يَهْدِي قَلْبَهُ, he will guide his heart. وَاللَّهُ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. So whatever you think of musibah, where it comes from, this, have some faith in Allah, and your heart will be guided within it, at least. Okay, so how are things maktub? How are they maktub? How can we actually start to think about this, especially when it comes to how can we put these verses together, almost, where they say it comes from the good is from Allah, but the bad is from you, these sort of things. So could it be, this is my thought on this. Again, it needs a lot more thought, but could it be that how things are written, as they are written as conditionals, so to speak, right? Based on our actions, like laws of nature, like consequences. The analogy of laws of nature is, of course, very apt, because laws are written, right? If X, then Y. If this happens, then this. This happens, then this. The idea that we have, I think, might be simplistic, that, God has a book, sort of a register. Of course, it's not a physical book or anything, but there's a register, something Maktoub, and just everything that will ever happen is written, exactly how it will happen. Okay, maybe that's not how it is. Maybe what's written, whatever is written in a form of like conditionals. It's going to be linked to our own decisions about what we do on the earth, right? And that's how that's how we draw up contracts, right? That's how we draw contracts. Clause one, if this, then this. Clause two, if this, then this, right? That's how things are written. If we take the analogy to us, who's to say that these things, whatever is written in God's sight, is just written in one way, and that's how it will materialize on earth, right? It could be that things are written in this kind of conditional way, right? There is some ideas of that in the Quran, some passages that can be used to sort of buttress that idea. Here's one of them. ولو أن كتبنا, and here's interesting, is using كتبنا, book we write for them, but of course here means decreed or ordered them. ولو أن كتبنا عليهم أن يقتلوا أنفسكم, and if we had decreed upon them, kill yourselves, or أو اخرجوا من دياركم, or leave your homes, they would not have done it. Okay, ما فعلوه إلا قليل منهم, they wouldn't have done it except a few of them. Then it says ولو أنهم فعلوا ما يوعظون به, but if they had done what they had been admonished to, لكان خيرا لهم وشد تثبيتا, it would have been better for them and more solid of a position for them. Okay, and then the next verse says وإذا لآتيناهم من لدنا أجرا عظيما, and then we would have given them from us a great reward. So this could be what is Maktoub, right? What is Maktoub? But what is Maktoub, it will not come. Okay, this hasanatun that could come to you, that could asab, sibka hasanatun, it would not come unless this is fulfilled. Okay, unless if they would do what they were commanded. Okay, وَلْهَدَيْنَاهُمْ صِرَاطٌ مُسْتَقِيمًا, we would have guided them to a straight way. Right, so this is how it could be that things are written in this kind of conditional way. And this, of course, you could say, okay, this is about guidance and misguidance, that kind of stuff. But it does include other things. So, for example, this verse here, وَلَوْ أَنَّ أَهْلَ الْقُرَىٰ آمَنُوا وَاتَّقَوْا, and if only the people of the cities had faith and had taqwa, we would have opened upon them blessings from the heavens and the earth. لَفَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ بَرَكَاتٍ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Okay, what does that mean, barakat? Of course, it means extra provisions, more rain, better crops, all of these things. وَلَكِنْ كَذَّبُوا, but they rejected. Okay, they denied. Okay, فَأَخَذْنَاهُمْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ. So this is something which was written. Okay, it was written that had they done this, they would have received that. But they didn't. They did something else. So they were taken for what they were earning. Okay, so again, remember, فَبِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِيكُمْ مَا أَصَابَ مِنْ مُصِيبَةٍ. There's no musibah that comes to you except that it's by what ما كسبت, the same word, ما كسبت أيديكم, what your own hands have earned. Okay, so كذبوا, so they got this instead, whereas before, if they had done this, they would have gotten that instead. All right, so these conditionals are in there in the Quran, talking about these kind of things. Another one, أولم يهد للذين يرثون الأرض من بعد أهلها, has it not become clear to those who inherited the earth after its previous people that if we willed, لو نشاء أصبناهم بذنوبهم, okay, we would inflict them with a musibah because of their sins, بذنوبهم, ونطبع على قلوبهم فهم لا يسمعون. Okay, but we seal over their hearts so they don't hear. So again, if there had not been any musibah, if there had not been any dhunub, they would not, God would not have willed the musibahs to be upon them. Okay, instead it could have been like what was promised in the previous verse. آمنوا واتقوا, if that had faith and had taqwa, the blessings of the sky and the earth would have been opened up for them. Okay, but instead you have something else. And another verse for أهل الكتاب, right? ولو أنهم أقاموا التوراة والإنجيل وما أنزل إليهم من ربهم, and if only they had upheld the Torah and the Injil and what had been revealed to them from their Lord, they would have consumed لأكلوا, they would have been given provision They would have been able to have abundance, right, of provisions. They would have eaten. It says literally, they would have been able to eat from above them, من فوقهم, okay, من فوقهم ومن تحت أرجلهم, and from beneath their feet. They would have gotten all of this, okay. And then it says منهم أمة مقتصد وكثير منهم ساء ما يعلمون. Okay, some of them are among them are those who are moderate, but many of them evil is what they do. So again, here we have this conditional, right? This is also could be something we could say that's how it's written. It's written that if they had established the Torah and the Injil and what was revealed to them from their Lord, they would have received this, this, and that. But they didn't, so they didn't receive it. Another one here. أولما صابتكم مصيبة قد أصبتم مثليها قلتم أن هذا. Okay, why is it that when a single disaster strikes you, like this was we're talking about Uhud, okay, although you had struck the enemy, in a similar way, so now we're talking about, how they were inflicting a musibah on the enemy, right? So musibah from the enemy, and you had inflicted a double the amount of musibah on the enemy. So now we're talking about musibahs which we do one onto the other. People do a musibah against each other, right? So does this fall down under ما أصاب من مصيبة في الأرض ولا في أنفسكم إلا في كتاب من قبل أن نبرأها? Is that part of that initial verse, that there is no musibah that strikes you on the earth or in yourselves, okay, in yourselves, except that it's in a book before we bring it out? Because here it looks like, no, this looks like these are musibahs which we do onto the other, right? And so the believers here were saying, how did we get this musibah? How could this have happened to us? Yeah, as if they want to, again, this idea of this, why did this come to us? Was this why was predestined? Why was this predestined almost? Okay, they say, from where is this? And the Prophet is commanded to say, قُلْ هُوَ مِنْ عِنْدِ أَنفُسِكُمْ. It's from your own self. It's from your own self. قُلْ هُوَ مِنْ عِنْدِ أَنفُسِكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. This is from yourselves. Indeed, Allah has power, ability of all things. So this is again this where it says عِنْدِ أَنفُسِكُمْ. Okay, so the good is from from Allah. But when we talk about min Allah, but when we talk about end, it sort of changes things. But this seems to be different from the other one that we mentioned before. So that's that one. And here's another verse, which I mean, these two verses, I use them quite a lot because I do get questions sometimes about people, or I see something that I comment upon about people saying, why is it that people allow to this? How does God allow this or allow that? Why is this or that? So again, we need to remember that some of these things, they're not from God. Okay, we don't put them at that level that they are, direct from. So you say, this is a response to some of that. قُلْ هُوَ مِنْ عِنْدِ أَنفُسِكُمْ. It's from yourselves. But this one especially, ومن الناس من يقول آمنا بالله فإذا أوذي في الله جعل فتنة الناس كعذاب الله. This part is key, right? And among people are those who say we have faith in Allah, but when one of them is harmed, okay, in the cause of Allah or for their faith in Allah, they consider the fitna, the trials, the persecution, the persecution, the torture of people as if it were a punishment of God. This is God, okay, who's doing this. No, it's the people, right? جعل فتنة الناس كعذاب الله. And we should not be of those kind of, we shouldn't have that mentality where we make the fitna that people do to us or to each other. We don't say that this is like a punishment from God. Okay, it's not the punishment of God. These are different. وَلَإِنْ جَاءَ نَصْرٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ مِنْ رَبِّكَ لَيَقُولُنَّ إِنَّا كُنَّا مَعَكُمْ. And if a victory comes from God, they say we are with you. أَوَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِعَلَمَ بِمَا فِي صُدُورِ الْعَالَمِينَ. The verse is, or does God not know what is within the breasts of mankind? All right, so that's basically what I wanted to say. There might not be much in that, but a main thing that I wanted to mention is just this idea that what is Maktoub could be like a conditional. Okay, it could be something which is a conditional, and maybe that's a better way to think about it, because it does seem that the Quran talks about these things in its sort of way. It does talk about things being conditional, right? If you do this, you get this, then that. And in that kind of way, we can keep the idea of the accountability of the human being for what happens around them. Another one is ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس. Right, the fasad, that corruption, right, has appeared on land and on the sea. Okay, and this could be linked. It might be a bit sort of like new agey for some people, but this could be linked. They say that there are even hadiths which sort of hint about this, right? That people, when certain sins increase, okay, certain natural disasters increase as well. Okay, so the fasad, the corruption, has appeared on earth and the land. بما كسبت أيدي الناس, what people have earned, right, because of what they have earned. Okay, so let's get back to. I hope I did do a sound check, right? Was everybody listening to all that? Assalamu alaikum. Looks like everybody's okay. I didn't do a mistake like last time. All right, okay, brilliant. Let me have a look and see some of the chats. We don't have much people chatting away. Can you revisit this explanation later? Is that directed to me, Ali? Or is that somebody else? Talking about this one? This explanation? Yeah, it was just that those verses which seem, they probably definitely do seem that way in the contradiction, in translation, as if they're a contradiction. Right? So one of them is saying, this is from Allah. One of the verses says, this is from you. They say when a good thing happens, this is from Allah. When a bad thing happens, they say this is from you, O Muhammad, from the Prophet. And the Prophet is commanded to say, all things are from Allah. قُلْ كُلٌّ مِّنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. Okay, this كُلٌّ مِّنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. Say everything is from Allah. And then the next verse, directly addressing the Prophet, says whatever good comes to you is from Allah. Okay, it doesn't say the good and the bad are from Allah. It says whatever the good comes to you is from Allah, min Allah, without the ind. Okay, with no end, right? And whatever comes to you of evil is from yourself, again, from you, not min indik, right? This is just directly from you, okay? Famin nafsik, from your own self. So that's all I wanted to mention about. That's why these two verses are not contradictory. But what is the difference now between? What does that mean? The inclusion of a ind. What does that mean? But it's even in if you just look at the script, by how things are written, okay, there's a separation. Where is it from? It's not from Allah. Okay, there's something in between. Okay, there's something in between, right? So here, all things, the good and the bad, they come from indillah, okay, but there's a separation, not directly from Allah, but only the good is from Allah without the ind. Okay, so that's basically it. All right, let's see. Is there anybody? We have Iron Man. You can see he's got a presentation to show us. But before we start on that, if you don't mind, I just want to make sure that nobody has any comments or anything else. Anybody else want to come on and say something? Because I know that Iron Man is going to have something for us. So Ali is saying here. So maybe generally speaking, all things are from Allah, but when the evil comes, it's from what our hands have earned. Yeah, that's what another verse says. It says, no musibah befalls you except it's because of what your own hands have earned. Okay, so at that level, it's from where your own hands have earned. At the sort of the upper levels, of reality, or where things originate from. If you think about where do things, originate from, then from Allah only the good comes, right? From Allah only the good comes. But like I said, these are things which need a lot of thought. I haven't thought deeply about them. I just thought I'd share some of these, maybe just so people can have these verses somewhere that they can come back and listen to this stream. It's longer than I wanted, but for about almost half an hour, I was just going through these verses, which you could end up using for your own. Maybe somebody could contemplate them themselves and try to figure it out, because I haven't, certainly. But I just thought I'd go through these because I had a lot of questions about them and some comments about them in the last video. And like I said, the main thing which I would be thinking about if I were to dedicate some time to trying to figure this out, or contemplate this, I would be sort of thinking along these lines. That what is written could be as like condition, in a kind of conditional way, because there are certain verses, like I said, like I showed, which do indicate that that it's not just God said this and this and this and this are written and that's it. Okay, undoubtedly, probably there are things which are like this, but a lot of the things which you will look to, all right, in terms of what will happen to us in our lives, they could be written, but written in these kind of conditional ways. Okay. So he's asking, sometimes min and the end are together. Why instead of min alone? I'm not sure which verse you're mentioning. So I mean, for these two verses, I mean, I think it's just talking about min indillah, and that's it. So all of these, they are saying end, right? So they say, when a good happens, they say this is from indillah. When a bad happens, they say this is from endak, from you. And Prophet is commanded to say, no, everything is from indillah. Everything is from indillah. And in the next verse, he's told that what good comes is from Allah, min Allah, and what bad comes is from nafsak, from yourself. Okay, so they're not mixed here. I'm not sure which verse you mean where they seem to be mixed. So there's this one. I'm just trying to see if I can find what you mean, or if you could put it in the chat. Let me see the chat again. Min and mina. Yeah. I think they're the same. Somebody probably this is just the second one is just having a fatha on it. It's just the fatha at the top of the noon at the end. That's all. It's not just the second one just being fully vocalized, and that's it. Okay, if you just look at the Arabic script, it's the same word. It's just min. Okay, it's just you can recite the fatha at the end or not. All right, I'm going to bring on Ayman. Assalamu alaikum. That doesn't look.
وعليكم السلام. هل
Let's
تسمعني؟
bring it there. Yes.
Good.
Let me remove my thing.
So, what's new?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How have you been?
Alhamdulillah, bro. I've been okay. Anyways, a couple of weeks ago, I told everyone that I was going to write a program where I could say anything to my computer about the Quran, and it will present that information as text and by reciting it as well. So what I'm going to try to do is demonstrate that.
Okay.
And hopefully I'm going to be releasing this program for free. So every one of you can do this. Okay, here we go. Are you guys ready?
What you said.
Okay,
Program.
can you guys hear me?
Is that correct?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, we're all good.
Yes.
Tell me about Mary. Okay, it didn't recognize my voice then. Tell me about Mary. Okay, let me try again. Tell me about Jesus.
That's pretty cool. MashaAllah. So it selected that verse specifically. Why did it select that verse?
Like that of Adam. He created him from dust, then he said to him, "Be," and he was.
وقولهم إنا قتلنا المسيح عيسى ابن مريم رسول الله وما قتلوه وما صلبوه ولكن شبه لهم وإن الذين اختلفوا فيه لفي شك منه ما لهم به من علم إلا اتباع وما قتلوه يقينا.
And for their saying, "Indeed, we have killed the Messiah, Jesus, the son of Mary, the messenger of Allah." And they did not kill him, nor did they crucify him, but another was made to resemble him to them. And indeed, those who differ over it are in doubt about it. They have no knowledge of it.
MashaAllah. Can you stop it there a minute?
Yeah, I've stopped it.
Yeah. Somebody, Ali asked, what is that? Iron Man and Alex Fruin, that's basically Muslim Jarvis, right? But no, the amazing thing for me that was which verses it chose. I mean, how does it choose the verses? Is it pre-selected when you say, okay, speak of Jesus, or ask the program about Jesus, and it selects those verses because you previously selected them?
That's right. Yeah, I've got this file. It's an XML file, and in that file, I've got certain keywords.
Okay.
Those keywords are related with ayah numbers.
Okay.
So I have to put all that information in.
All right, I see.
But
How many keywords have you got sort of listed so far?
I think about, I don't know, maybe about 1,000.
1,000. So for each one, you've tied them to certain verses, or
That's right.
how that must mean? Did you do that all manually, or was it?
What it is, yeah. I mean, first I started off manually, yeah, and then what I did was I wrote a program that allowed me to, first of all, copy some text. For example, the topic. The topic could be, let's say, Jesus.
Yeah.
And then I would well, obviously I've got this program now, yeah, and then I would go to ayah numbers anywhere, yeah, where there are ayah numbers related to Jesus. It could be in a file, could be on the internet, and then what I do is I just copy them.
All right. So you'd find like I see. So you'd find like an article which you liked about a topic. Let's say it's an article about Jesus, and you put that into your program, and it would select out the verses, and then those verses would be linked to the word Jesus, right? The reason why I ask, because the way it's done, it seems fantastic. Because if you just search on like the Quran, search the word for Jesus, you end up a lot of hits, of course, anytime Jesus' name is mentioned. Okay, but they're not exactly relevant to somebody who's, let's say, a non-Muslim who wants to know about Jesus. Those verses that the program selected or that you selected there, those would probably be the best verses to start reading from. You wouldn't want to have the program where you just say, okay, Jesus, and you just end up having sort of like verses which don't really give you much. Like if you search Jesus on a Quran app on your phone or something, the very first verses would be like the let me see, I'll search it myself now. Yeah, so the first verse is in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 87, and just says, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ وَخَفَّيْنَا مِنْ بَعْدِهِ بِالرُّسُلِ وَآتَيْنَا عِيسَى ابْنَ مَرْيَمَ الْبَيِّنَاتِ وَأَيَّدْنَاهُ بِرُوحِ الْقُدُسِ. And we gave Moses the book before, and followed him up with messengers. And we gave Jesus, the son of Mary, the clear signs, bayinat, and we helped him with the Holy Spirit. Is it that every time a messenger comes to you with something which you don't like, you are arrogant? Some of them you reject, and some of them you kill. Now that doesn't really tell you much about what the Quran is saying about Jesus. It tells you a little bit, but not much. But those verses that you mentioned, they sort of go to the program recited out. They go to the heart of the matter a lot more. So yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, if that could be similar with any other topic, any other keyword that's read out to the program, it gives you the most pertinent verses, rather than just any verse which has that keyword. That would be the best, right?
Yeah, that's
Brilliant.
the easy part.
Sorry?
What you were saying is the easy part.
Really?
Present the right ayahs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's the easy part, though. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the easy part because, like you said, you made a program to get the right ayat from articles and the understanding, right? So you'd find like an article. Let's say, for example, you're going to do another one about, I don't know, let's say another one about fighting. Okay, so you've got fighting, qital, or so you put that into it. You wouldn't want every single verse with qital to come on, sort of like numerically in the Quran from the first appearance to the last. You'd want like the most pertinent ones, like like قاتلوا في سبيل الله الذين يقاتلوكم, fight in the way of Allah, those who fight you, right? You'd want that to be the first one to come out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it sort of comes down to the articles that you sort of curate and put into the feed to the program, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, and guess what? Yeah, I mean, this is just the early stages. Yeah, but I can get it. Yeah, to go to a website and read that article or any kind of notes, any kind of document, and just build the database itself. Yeah, for example, on the internet, you can get something called a Quran index. Yeah, where from A to Z, you can choose a particular topic, go to that topic, and then you can see all the relevant ayahs to do with that topic. I've already got these files on my computer, and what I've done is I just copy them using a program, and it just does all the rest of the work. Or I can actually talk to my computer and get it to do it. For example, I can copy the word, let's say, Zulqarnain. I mean, I can just tell the computer to copy the word Zulqarnain and then get it to copy some ayahs by voice commands.
Yeah.
Yeah, all this can be easily done. Yeah, and this program, I'm going to call it Quran Assistant.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the name of the program, and inshallah, I'm going to be releasing this soon. Yeah.
All right. What kind of timeline? What kind of timeline you're looking at?
Well, first of all, I have to give it a very good test. Yeah, make sure everything's working. There aren't any bugs. And the thing is, there's like several programs involved. Most of them are free. In fact,
Yeah.
all of them are free, yeah, but one of them is actually a trial version, and it allows 40 commands, and then you have to restart it. And this is the program that takes care of the voice recognition that the Apple device sends to my PC.
Okay.
Yeah, because I talk to my Apple device that does the voice recognition, and then it sends this information, yeah, to my PC, and then this
All
program
right.
looks at that,
Okay.
and then runs a Python program, a Python script, and then that Python script opens up text files which are Arabic ayahs, English translation. Also opens up a media player, and then tells the MP3 player to play those necessary ayahs. And then there's another program called Rain Meter, and what that is a program that gives you information about whether it's actually, think of it as widgets that you can have on your desktop, and these widgets give you information about your CPU, your RAM, your disk drive space, weather, CPU temperature, also news information. That program's free, and I'm using that to display the Arabic and English text onto my desktop.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few programs involved. It's not just one program that's doing all this. There's like several programs, yeah, that I use to do all this.
All right. So, but and the final app, you have to put them all into one, right?
Well, I mean, when you call it an app, it's not really an app. Yeah, it's like all these programs. They weren't really meant to work together.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these programs that I'm using, they're not meant to work together. They just do their own thing. And
Yeah.
I've written a program that makes use of all these other programs. Yeah, and
Okay.
just gets them working together seamlessly. I hope.
Okay. So basically, so when it comes out, you're gonna have to download something. Well, you'll have to
Well,
download
you've got to
something
download.
on your PC and something on your Apple device, right?
Yeah, you've got to download something on the Apple device. Yeah, a program. Well, luckily two. Yeah, one app that you get from the Apple Store, and then you've got to download a program from me in order to do this on your iPad. And then there are programs on the PC as well, like 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
and on
right.
top of
So
this, yeah, with this thing, yeah, you can say to your computer to recite you a full surah. You can also get it to recite to you single ayahs. Yeah,
okay.
you can also get it to recite to you a range of ayahs, and also you can get it to recite to you ayahs about any topic which is found in the Quran.
All right. I must say, mashallah, amazing work. How long did it take you to do all of this? Like how many hours of work
You
goes
know what?
into something like this?
Yeah, well, to do this on the PC, yeah, it took me like 1 month to do this,
Okay. All
and then
right.
it probably took me a month to do something. Well, not 1 month, to write a really good program that can take care of my needs when it comes to the study of the Quran.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say about a month, yeah, on
Okay.
each platform.
Mm.
And
All
I've been
right.
doing this for like years. It's not something new.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
several years ago, yeah, just as a test to see whether this is possible. And there was a video on YouTube, but my YouTube account got deleted, and that video is now available somewhere else.
All right. On YouTube as well. Another channel or somewhere mirrored.
Yeah, so there's something similar to YouTube called Odyssey, and
Okay.
they do less censoring. One thing I didn't tell you guys about, yeah, is roughly about a month ago, yeah, I did a little talk about Salah. And after that, I've been trying to send or write comments in certain YouTube channels, and every comment to do with Salah was deleted, censored. And, from my understanding, this information to do with Salah, is a game changer. First of all, I mean, this is my understanding. This information to do with Salah, to me, it's going to give it's going to give huge problems to everyone in the world, including the imams who perform a ritual prayer. Well, lead them ritual prayer, because, like I said to you, Salah is not a ritual prayer. The evidence is in the Quran. So
Do you have that?
Because our ancestors, did this. That's the only way. It's a ritual prayer. Our forefathers practiced this ritual prayer. This is how we inherited it, but it's not really something that's from the Quran, because there are no details, about how to perform this particular ritual prayer in the Quran.
Yeah. Do you have the link to this video on Odyssey?
Sorry, what was that?
I said that. So you said you did the talk on Odyssey. You said it's called.
No. This thing that I did, to do with voice recognition.
You put that on Odyssey. Okay.
Assistant. That's on Odyssey, though.
All right. Okay. All right. Cool.
So to me, this Salah is a game changer. If you want to get rid of the ruling elite, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. You've got to get this Salah sorted out. If you want to get rid of those people, the imams in the masjids, who are, in my opinion, misguiding people and leading them astray, this is the way to do it. I mean, to me, this is called a Salah session. Getting together, studying, reflecting, pondering upon the Quran, and then we've got to do something more as well. It's not just, I mean, we learn about it. We've got to enjoin good, forbid evil. And the most evil people Allah tells in the Quran are those who attribute lies to Allah. These are the most evil people.
That's the greatest sin in the Quran.
Who are the most evil people then? Those people, the Muslims, saying, "Oh, we need to follow the Hadid." So this is what your deen is. Pray 5 times a day, fast in the month of Ramadan. Do your Hajj ritual. Pay zakat 2.5%. These are the people who I see as those who are the liars, those who are attributing lies unto Allah. And this Salah thing, to me is a game changer. The Prophet and his companions, they performed this Salah. They established this Salah, and the Zakah, and things changed for them. Things changed. I mean, to me, I see a revolution taking place, because of these Salah sessions. That's what it is.
MashaAllah. Yes, nice. For those who are wondering, when was it when you gave that presentation about Salah? Which stream was it? Or is a couple about 3 streams back or 4 streams back? I forget. Which one was it? What was the name of it? I'm checking on my other tabs. Was it in the one? It wasn't last week. It wasn't in Dhikr or Quran. What was that about? Why did I name that one? Dhikr or Quran? Okay. It wasn't God's shadow. No. Was it the one about Lot and the prophets? Or the faqih job? I forget which one. I want to know which one it was. If anybody remembers, they could. I think maybe it was in Ibrahim and the birds. Ibrahim was about that one, right? Ibrahim's birds and God's call. So that one, which I call that. I'm trying to make names for these streams which are short and would remind me what was the main thing about them. And now I'm looking at these titles and I'm thinking, what was that one about? But yeah, there was Iron Man, for anybody listening. He gave a very nice long presentation about Salah, with some excellent insights. I think he gave two, right? It was actually in two separate weeks. So he started on one week, you talked about it, and then in following week or the week after that, you spoke about it. So if anybody's interested, you can just open check the previous streams, and if you just scroll up to like after I don't know around the 1 hour mark. But I think it was all right. Okay, let me just look at the comments because I think there's nobody else backstage, by the way. So we might end up closing soon. Let me just look at. We've got a few questions here. Mesut, that's a Turkish name, I believe, right? What is the correct translation of what is that? Kitabin Makota, Kitabin Makota, right? So this is about you might wanna you wanna have a stab at that, Iron Man. So the verse says in the Salah kanat al mu'minina Kitabin Makota, that the Salah is upon the faithful as a Kitabin Makota. I think maybe that question is directed at you.
Is it? Yeah. What's the question?
This is saying, what is the correct translation of Kitab and Mawquta? So the verse says, truly the Salah is enjoined upon the faithful as Kitab and Mawquta. So how do you translate that?
How would I translate it? Well, you know what? What we're doing right now is called a Salah session. There's people connecting together. Connecting together, reflecting upon the Quran, trying to purify themselves. So we can come out of darkness into the light, and the Quran is the light, and everything apart from the Quran is darkness.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Some people are asking in the
about this Kitab and Makota. I think that's to do with Salah. Was it a book that is scheduled? But,
something like
well,
that.
it just goes to show, isn't it? Yeah, the Salah is connected to the book, and the book is the Quran. Yeah, the book is the Quran. Yeah, it's got nothing to do with a ritual prayer. Yeah, although in this ritual prayer they do recite the Quran, but the recitation isn't done to the people. The recitation in this ritual prayer is done back to God. So basically, what the imam, the one who's leading the prayer, what he's doing is he's reciting the Quran back to God. So he's saying to God, "Qul." He's saying to God, "Say, Huwallahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad." So basically, he's telling God something that God already knows. Yeah, and the Quran is meant to be a book recited to the people, not back to God. That's my
I remember, you mentioned that verse, تُعَلِّمُونَ اللَّهَ بِدِينِكُمْ.
Yeah, chapter 49,
Are you
verse
teaching
16.
God
In fact,
your
let
religion?
me get Jarvis to sort it out. Chapter 49, verse 16.
Get Jarvis, Muslim Jarvis.
قل أتعلمون الله بدينكم والله يعلم ما في السماوات وما في الأرض والله بكل شيء عليم.
MashaAllah, beautiful, wonderful program. It didn't update though. Your shared screen. Maybe you just changed what you're sharing,
Whatever is on the earth, and Allah is knowing of
but that
all
hasn't
things.
changed.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
basically,
mashallah. Yeah, but I just want to say for those on the chat who are asking about what Ayman was, some people asking, what's the evidence, etc. I'd highly recommend just check back a few streams. I'm not sure which one. It won't take you long to find it. You'll find that if you just hover, open them, not the previous one probably, about three or four streams back. Just hover, open them up, hover around, halfway, or 3/3 to 3/4 of the way through, around the 1 hour mark. You'll find, if you see Iron Man is on that, then move back to the beginning of where he's describing what he's saying, and you'll see what he says. Let me just have a look at one other question here. One says, I'm from India. I'm reading Muhammad Asad's translation. I said, well, what is your recommendation? Will I ever be able to absorb this in one or in Arabic? What do you say? Yes, I mean, I firmly believe that the Quran was made easy. Okay, so the Quran, people like to talk about how the Quran is in very highest of eloquence of Arabic, etc. It is very eloquent. It is on a high level eloquence, but it's also very simple. The words used in the Quran are very much more simpler than, for example, try reading pre-Islamic Arabic poetry. It's incredibly difficult. The Quran is like a walk in the park compared to that. Okay, it's very easy. When God says that He has made the Quran easy to be a reminder, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ, that we need to believe that, okay? And believe that even in translation, that will shine through. Now, you do need to know that you have limitations with that. So if you're going to start dealing with intricacies in the Quran, right, like intricacies, we're trying to like really this, get like the nuance of certain words, okay, within verses, then of course you're going to need Arabic. But you can read a verse in a passage, and you can understand it that way pretty easily. I think. Follow. Look at the broad roads. The highways. Of the Quran, rather than try to get into the sort of like the alleyways, the small intricate parts. You can definitely get everything you need that way from the Quran. So yeah, I mean the essence of the Quran, God didn't put the essence of the Quran into these small things. Okay, the essence of the Quran wasn't hidden away in the major message. It's a reminder. It's a reminder of what you already know in the end, right? It's a reminder to all the worlds. Why is it? How can it be a reminder to all the worlds unless it's something which all the worlds already knew, already knows? Okay, dhikr is a reminder. Okay. If you've got them, Ayman, you've got everybody speaking up about Salah. But I'll leave.
Yeah, I've left.
Yes, they're very.
Link.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, what Adriana here is saying is exactly right. The zikr, the remembrance, is protected by Allah, and it doesn't depend on any language. I think it depends on the person's want of God. Exactly. So in the Quran, going back to that question of who was asking about the person from India. Okay, and then the only barrier to really understanding the Quran and getting the essence of it is the heart, right? The Quran, Allah says in the Quran, فَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ, do they not, do they not ponder the Quran, or is it on their hearts or locks? Okay, Arabic inside out, and they miss the essence of the Quran completely because their hearts are full of locks. Okay, their hearts are completely locked up, locked up with the what they've inherited, the hadith, the opinions of this scholar, of that scholar, of this and that, the other. Okay, so the much better than having Arabic is having a sound heart when it comes to the Quran. All right, okay. All right, okay, I think I've come to the end of the messages. I think we'll end it there, right? All right, man. So thanks a lot for coming on. And again, I think a lot of people will thank you for this program once it comes out. And we've had the privilege, I think, on the stream of being the first people to see it in action and see how it's going to be implemented. And hopefully we'll see it on the Apple Store and stuff, and then we'll see reach 1,000 downloads, then 5,000, 10,000, you know, and we can all look at that and think, mashallah, we were there for the first sort of tests, online tests for it. Okay.
Yeah, no,
All right.
alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
I think it's good news. This, everyone able to study the Quran just by talking to
Yeah.
their computer.
Exactly. All right, okay. I'm going to end it there because it's getting pretty late over here. We've passed the 1 hour mark. Again, Ayman, just like to thank you for that again. And for everybody else, Jazakumullah khair. For those again, I think Ayman I don't know if he put the links on there, but for those who want to.
I did put some links there, yeah, but you know what? I think they've been censored again.
All right, okay.
Yeah,
Well, no
because I can't see them.
Yeah, I can't see them either, to be honest. I can't see them. Maybe your account was flagged for spam or something, so now your ability to take part, you know,
Yeah, like I
like
said to you,
break up the link.
Yeah, this information it's huge. Yeah, it's being censored everywhere. Yeah, so you know what? To me, this information is a game changer. Yeah, it will overthrow all the tyrants on planet Earth as long as everyone establishes this salah and the zakah.
Yeah, so I'm getting here. There was the longest stream that we had. Yeah, I think that's true. I remember. Which one was the longest stream that we had? Let me just go back into my channel,
Yeah, just do
my
a search
studio.
for lessons.
It was one. Yeah, it was one that was almost 2 hours. I remember that now. Let me go back. Wow, it was a long time ago. It looks like. No, it wasn't there. Hold on, it wasn't exactly 2 hours. Then it was close to 2 hours. Oh no, there it is. Yes, it was one which was Ibrahim's birds and God's call, right? So there was one where you came on. I think that was one where you first came on and started speaking about Salah. So that's stream number 22. Okay, for those listening, stream number 22. And then I think it wasn't the next week, the week after that. So maybe the faqih job. So number 24. I think that's when you came on and you gave your presentation, if I remember. But yeah, so check from stream number 22 and you'll find Iron Man's explanation of Salah. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. I think we'll end it there. I'm just going to remove you from the stream. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum. Okay. Thank you. And for everybody else, again, I'd like to thank you. And inshallah, I'll see you again next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Buttons.